Hello. All right. Let me just get my music going. Da-da-da-da-da. I like Monster Cat. Alright.
The sunlight begins to fade now.
Okay.
I feel like I'm losing time.
Hello everybody out there in internet land. Today I'm going to take I guess a little bit of a change from what I've been doing previously. So up until now I've been working on the pathfinding stuff, and I wouldn't say that I'm like giving up on it, but definitely taking a break from working on pathfinding for a little while, where I think I have some good algorithmic solutions, but the problem is that they're getting pretty intensive on Factorio. So I have some more ideas that I'll come back to, looking at more iterative, or like not even trying to pathfind and just sort of trusting, letting go and letting walking in the right direction work. let the Jesus of Factorio help me. But what we're doing right now, what I'm going to do today is going to work on the basic steps for getting to boot power. And I'm probably not going to work on the implementation of these steps, but I'm going to work on, I guess, programmatizing actually like what the steps are, and having the goal engine that I'm working on provide those steps. So, you know, eventually when I get to the implementation side, then they'll actually be implemented correctly. So I've been working on a list of what needs to happen in order to get to sort of boot power, and my boot power I'm defining as 7 boilers, 5 steam pumps, 5 steam engines, and then all that driven by a single pump. So I have some numbers for what like totals I need in terms of things, and going from start to actually getting that power working is like pretty legit list of tasks. If you can read that, this is a whole page worth of steps and a couple of building planning designs that I've been thinking about. So we'll be working on that stuff today. All right, well, let's get started. So first of all, I'm just looking at the code that I had for that I was working on the other day with the pathfinding stuff. I'm going to keep it all. I'm just going to I'm going to commit it, but we're not going to use it today. So it's going to be in the Git repo. If you're playing along at home and you're following me on GitHub, then you'll see those changes go in. But it's very inefficient right now, and anything more than about 10 trees between you and your destination will cause your game to freeze for a long time, and also a lot of log lines to get written out. So. All right, but that's it. Let me just add. Okay, push that up to GitHub. If you're following along at home, the repository is hosted at GitHub here, submitted denied /factorio-AIMod. I can, if you need it, I can put a link in the chat, but no one's watching right now, so I'll put it up when someone asks for it. Okay. So right now, to give you a quick tour of what's happening, the way the mod works. As with all mods, it runs a control.lua, and control.lua creates this goal machine, and the goal machine basically consists of a list of tasks. Each of the tasks in the task API, I guess I can look at task.lua, has an achieved and a tick function. Tick is going to get called on each game tick, and achieved is called on each game tick, and that's part of the goal machine. The goal machine itself is actually a task. This is kind of object-oriented principle thing. And the idea here is that in the main game loop, so on each game tick, we check if the goal machine is finished, and if it is, then if it's not, then we tick it, and otherwise we set that that we're done, and that we've completed all of our goals. So if I just get rid of my pathfind task for now, I'm going to leave these commented out pointer task things here. Usually I don't leave commented out code because if you need it, it's in Git. But we're going to be actively working on this today, so I'm going to leave it. So my craft recipe task, very simple. Basically on the tick, we check if we have started crafting yet. And if we have not, then we enqueue that, we do that crafting.
With so many websites in the world, standing out online
making an
is
ad on
harder than ever. Squarespace's designer
SoundCloud?
templates, simple interface,
That sucks.
and
I didn't think you
award-winning
get ads on
customer
SoundCloud.
support help
Oh well.
you create a website that stands out instead
it's
of in
just-
your way.
Does it pause the ad if I mute it? Get wrecked. Anyways, so we begin the crafting, and then as long as there were some enqueued, then we set ourselves as started. And so then on each other tick, because we have started, we don't do anything, we're just waiting. So then for achieved, we check that we did start, and the crafting queue size is 0. So once we get down to nothing left to craft, i.e. everything is finished crafting, then we consider it done. Now, the other way that we may need to work on this is that at the beginning we check our inventory for the number of things that we have, and then wait until the number of things in the inventory is that plus whatever we were asked to craft. We might end up in some very weird situations here where we're spending resources while things are working, and we might need to come back to how this stuff works. So right now in my control Lua, I have this craft task recipe. It crafts 2 iron axes, and if I were to play the game right now, man, how do I get on the back? And I just create a new world to test this out. Hit tab to get through the scenario stuff. Actually, we could do that real quick first. Update the scenario, but basically, it just it will build those 2 things. So you see, I have 2 iron axes now, and then it prints out completed goals, which is what happens back in control.lua when we get to once we're done. And then this, if not done, we go through and make sure that we're not doing all this stuff, like constantly printing out completed goals. So that's how all that stuff is working. Let me just real quick, I guess we'll just hack it up with Notepad. Wait, do I not have Notepad? There we go. Whoa, so big. I don't need that big. Alright, I'm doing some stuff in the background here. And stop. Okay. So now we're setting up the AI scenario. So I did a little bit of research today and found that very easily you can create a new folder, call it scenarios, create a new file in there, and a new folder inside scenarios, and we're going to call that AI scenario. Well, we'll call it AI play. How about that? And inside that we will create our scenario. And what I'm basically going to do for that is I'm just going to take the free play scenario, which is what comes built in with Factorio, copy it, create a control.lua inside my AI play, and drop it in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this game show message dialog because it's not interruptible. It's no way for me from the AI to close that dialog. So I'm just going to get rid of it. There's another one down here, show message dialog. In fact, let's just make sure we find them all. So yeah, it's only one result found. So this is this one. Since this is an if statement, if gameplay is less than or equal to 1. So I'm going to change this one to if number game.play is greater than 1. And so then that logic will be the same. This is just a player print, but there's no game show message, which means it won't sort of suspend and pause the game. Once we get to technologies and stuff like that, we may need to go in and disable when it pops up and freezes the game to make you select another research, but that'll just be part of the normal thing.
Get SoundCloud Go and get rid of previews forever. Hear 100% of
SoundCloud.
every track from the world's
I did not
largest
hear
music
any
and
ads
audio
on you
streaming
yesterday.
catalog when you sign up for SoundCloud Go. Start your free 30-day trial today.
Is this like new today? SoundCloud started putting in ads? That's really unfortunate. I might have to go and find like a Monster Cat on YouTube. I don't know, whatever. Okay. It's all good. Okay, so we did that. We created our scenario. So just to make sure that's saved, jump back into Factorio. We're going to quit this game. We're going to play a custom scenario. There's our AI play. As we play this, boom, completed goals. I didn't have to hit tab to go through and make that work. So we're going to go ahead and just drop a commit right here. Okay. All right, push that up. Great. Okay. So the next thing that I wanted to look into, and this is sort of my idea for how I'm going to work on the different parts of how this application is going to work, how the AI is going to work. So there's going to be like a tactical part of the AI, which is what actually implements the move to this point, or pick this dirt out of the ground, these resources, place down these buildings. And then there's going to be more of the strategic, which is more of your like overall game plan, your build order, and even things as complicated as like building planning is going to be handled by that strategic part of the AI. I also want to keep track of things like when you need to build a new tool. So those are going to be kind of like constant, ongoing background type things that get checked periodically. And then, based on those checks, may enqueue more tactical or strategic goals. And this is probably going to be things like making sure that there is enough, like if your miners are running out of materials that you're expanding, all that kind of thing. This is, of course, way down the track. But for now, what we're talking about is I'm going to work on the strategic stuff today. So in order to do that, my tactical thing is going to be to display a message, and then that's going to be on me, the human, to actually do the task that the AI is asking me to do. So my goal for the end of today is that I have this long list of early game encoded in tasks, and then once those tasks are sort of encoded and they're displaying on the screen, then I'll go through, work on them, and it should give me, as I complete the tasks, it gives me the result back. Or, sorry, it gives me the next task, and then I've got myself to completed power. So, I believe that for a player, there is a way that I can set a goal. Set goal description. Set the goal text window in the goal there. Okay. So I can set some string. Passing an empty string. So it's a localized string. Localized string is where it's okay, so I actually have to put some stuff in locales apparently for this. The API function expects a localized string. It will also accept a regular string, and a table, which will not be translated. Oh, okay, cool. So I don't actually need to provide translation. In this case, since it's just me, I don't really care. So let's just do this. First thing first would be to run it in the UI. Okay, so it's my position. So what I want to do is game.player dot set goal description. This is a test goal. Great. So this will put up an objective up here. I can make this related to getting resources or whatever. But yeah, that should hopefully just work. So for now, actually, what's the other thing that I could do? I could put in, there's a set goal description. There's also something about a GUI arrow, right? Maybe not on the player, maybe it's on the character. Yes, set GUI arrow. Creates an arrow which points at this entity. Oh, where to point to. Okay, so we could do point to a position. Okay, well, let me see what my current position is. 10 and minus 1. Right, okay. So, if we do something like game.player.character, character dot set GUI error, type equals position, type string, and then additional, okay, so position is going to be some position. So, position equals x equals, what am I at? 10. So let's go to 15. And y equals, I'm at -1, or it was a -1, so let's go to like 5. So okay, so it's pointing to this top left corner here. What about if I walk away from it? Is it going to point me in that direction? No. So it just flashes on top of the thing. It doesn't actually like point me in that direction very much. What if I go over here? No. Okay. And it also doesn't put a pointer on my map either. So that kind of sucks. Okay. So that GUI error is not really what I was expecting, and not super useful. So I was hoping it would put like a compass kind of arrow on the ground. So my initial thought was maybe I could change my move to point task to give me an arrow, and then I could just walk towards that arrow, and once I got to the point that it was trying to get to, it would take over again. I'm wondering if it would make sense to just do a teleport. Because I could just change my move to point task to teleport, and that would avoid my whole need to do pathfinding, and then I would be able to sort of make progress on the strategic side before I get any further. Okay. No, I think I'll leave the job of selecting what I am and what I'm actually doing. I'll leave that to myself. Okay, so we set up this scenario. We're back into control the lure, and I think if I look at my goals. So I have my setup tools. Next is 1 coal and 9 iron. So let's just do this. It's going to be 9 iron and 1 coal. And so this could be, let's just rename this to like player gather resource task, to indicate that it's just going to be an instruction for me. Until I have 9 iron, it's just going to tell me in my goal description that, hey, you need to get more iron. So let's go up to my controllers, tasks, and since we already have a gather resource task, let's have a look at what this is. So this is based on goal set. So, oh right, okay. So the gather resource task previously would find the resource, and queue a move to point task and a mine resource task. So my new player mine resource task is actually going to be more like the mine resource task, or player gather resource task. So this is going to be the achieved. Each tick we're probably going to want to check if the quantity has changed. Okay. Okay. So let's copy that and paste. Is it gonna work? Oof. Adam, why would you do it like that? Oh my god. Okay, player gather resource task. Okay. Delete that. Copy, paste, and paste. Okay, so we check if we've achieved, and if we have enough stuff in our inventory for that item, then we're good. Okay, for the tick, we're going to get out the player, and probably once we're going to So we don't want to do it outside, I guess. Okay, so self dot started equals self dot started false. Yeah, that works. Okay, so if not self dot started, then we're going to set the goal text. Please go and gather self dot quantity self dot type. Okay. Else. So we have asked the user to go and gather that. Oh yeah, once we're done here, we want to say local complete. Completed? Sure. It's going to be that. If completed, then player dot clear goal text. Is that what the back to here? Set goal description. Oh shit. Goal description. Passing empty string within this parameter entirely. Okay, so set goal description is what I actually want. Oh come on. Description. Set goal description. Empty. So that's going to be clear goal. Okay. Clear the goal machine? No. Goal. And then we're going to return completed. Okay. Okay, so if we have okay, so the second parameter here is the only update, which is when true, won't play the goal updated sound, right? Because it's only an update. So okay, so that's actually fine. So we could do this, do that, and then at the end of this like first run, we'll set self.started equals true. Then we're going to pass in self.started as a second argument here. So the first time we go through, this will be false, so then that will be a new goal. Then we're going to set this to true. This will not override itself, and then everything will work, trust me. Now the next thing is we need to just figure out how much we need. So let's say local required, say still to mine, is going to be the self.quantity minus the amount that actually the player actually has. That, and so then we'll say please go gather the amount that's still to mind of gap. Okay. So that's actually relatively simple, I think. Right. Okay, let's test it out. So we'll jump back into. What is the case where this would break? I guess if we already had more than we needed, then this would be a negative number, and then, yeah, so let's say if still to 9 greater than 0, then we'll do that stuff. Adam, you need to get your shit together with Lua. Okay, so coming back to control, we have the player gather resource task. We need to, and of course I called it resource. Let's call it player gather resources. Rename that. Resources. Okay, good job. Right, so let's jump back to Factorio. Quit the game. So my controller is going to tell me to go and get 9 iron ore and then 1 coal. And let's just make sure this is correct syntax, otherwise it's going to explode. Alright, to custom scenario. Alright, let's go and gather 9 iron ore. So this is actually kind of similar to some of the campaign missions where when you start the campaign, obviously it gives you tasks to do up here in the top. So yeah, it's going to be implemented very similar to that. So this should go down to 8. Great. 7. Oh, all right, excellent. Oh man. Invalid literal type boolean and localized string, table string boolean, or number type expected. In function achieved. Line 10. I bet that's in where I'm trying to empty the gold. Yep, great. So interestingly, this tells me that passing empty string or omitting this parameter entirely will make the window disappear. And that was apparently not true. So let's try it with an empty string. And for now, let's just knock this back down to like 3, just so that it's a bit faster to get through. Okay, try that one more time. This is why we test. Sometimes the API docs are not totally friendly. Okay, so we have to go gather 3 iron ore, and this is a case where I think my Pathfinder would get totally fucked. Holy shit. So if I'm trying to travel this way, I would need to cut down a tree, or go out this way. Huh, crazy. This is one of the kind of cool things about having the collision rectangles on. When you spawn in fucking tree world, then you get some good info, I guess. Alright. And great. Please go and gather 1 coal. Now, let me just verify mining more iron is not going to break that. Okay, great. And some coal. Great, completed goals. Bada bing. All right. So now, looking at my notes here, in order for me to get to this 7 boilers, 5 engines, 1 pump, 7 burner inserters, and 7 belts, I will need to gather like 150, 160 iron plates. So I'm probably not going to go ahead and just change this number here to 160. And we also need to get to the point of like placing like smelters and all that kind of stuff. So this is sort of where we get a little bit tricky, and we need to figure out how we can start like building stuff. So I'm going to have probably like a place building task. And that may require me to craft stuff, and that may require me to go and fetch more stuff. So eventually what I'm going to do is get rid of these player gather resource tasks and move them into sort of automatically generated dependencies for some of the buildings that I want. So let's go ahead and let's have a look at what events we have, because I'm wondering if there's an event for like player builds building. Built entity. There you go. Created entity. I wonder if that's going to get called whenever a player builds a
Get SoundCloud
belt.
Go and get rid of
Is a belt an
previews
entity?
forever.
Probably.
Hear 100% of every track from the world's largest music
Okay,
and audio
well, let's
streaming
figure that out.
catalog when you sign
So-
up for SoundCloud Go. Start your free 30-day trial today.
Events, player built entity. Right? That's what it was. Player built entity, yes. Okay. Oh, I've been doing too much JavaScript. No. End. So let's just do something like, oh yeah, so the player is also event.player, right? All events contain a name and tick. Oh, I see. Force create. Do quick test change, mark instruction, pick up item. Okay, well I guess I'll just keep using this to get the player. So let's do something along the lines of player.print. I built and then we have created underscore entity. Oh, I have the player index. Okay, great. Event.player index. Okay. Created entity. Okay. Let's try that. 43. Oh. Unbuilt entity. Okay. Oh, I left that at 160. Okay. Hey. So many trees. I built a stone furnace. I built a burner mining drill. Okay. Let's just verify that building. Do a little bit of actually playing Factorio. Can you believe it? I'm gonna guess that it totally does. What do I need for these guys? Steel plates. So I need another burner mining drill, which means I need stone, which means I going for a walk. Up here, right? Ugh, that's a lame spawn. Let's collect that. Nope, let's not get on that peninsula. This is why I'm smarter than the machine. Cut down the trees. And I can kind of look ahead of where I'm going. Where are those rocks? Oh my god, so freaking far away. Dense forestry. Sorry, Twitch encoders. All that. All right. Wait, how many do I need for each thingy? 5? Okay, good. So let's just get like 20. Oh my god, there's also no... I guess there's iron down there. Let's do 25 for good measure. Alright. See if I can get around this forest a little bit. Okay, I need to. My going around the forest is gonna make me not go towards where I actually need to be going. What else do I need here? Oh, iron plates. So I need 9. Look at this guy. Let's drop that down. Let's go and get... I built a stone furnace. Iron. So I want to build 3, I think, which means I'm going to need 27. we did it. While I'm running, let's build another box. Oh, apparently I built 5 boxes. Oh. Right clicks. So sensitive. Okay. Boop, boop. Alright. What else am I doing? As mentioned. I think we can take this now. Okay. Start drilling up some more. Steel. Cute. Why did I want to build so many of these? Really, I just want to build this. Alright, I got too far ahead. That's what this game does to me, man. Okay, great. So yes, putting down a transport belt does indeed count. Okay. So, what I'm thinking is that I want to have it So I'm thinking the goal should be that you would build a... so first you're going to gather a few things. What my ultimate goal here is, let's say, I want to get to the self-fueling drills. So that would be 2 burner mining drills back to back, feeding into each other. So what that means I need is, that's the 9 iron and 1 coal. I also need to put down a smelter somewhere nearby. And so let's go ahead and do a player place building. Let's just do type equals stone furnace, is it? Yes. Okay. Now, this is where we start getting to sort of very interesting territory, because the goal machine, basically we're going to need to keep track of this, and to achieve this task, we need to subscribe to the on event for the thing being built. There's no way to unsubscribe, as far as I know. Script. We can get the event handler for an event. We can raise the event. That's kind of cool. Showing a message dialog. Save load, reload script. That's cool. Delete a file. Force CLC. Merge forces. Create service save. Delete service. Disable replay. Direction to stream. Wait, what? No, this is game. I want this bootstrap. Passing to unregister the handler. The handler will receive a table that contains the key name, specifying the name of it and spelled handle. Text that specifies the policy contain other things, but it's that. So I could set it up so that the build task will handle all the events for building, and then once something has been built, it unregisters itself, goes to the next task, and that task may be another build task and will register itself again. Let's not do it that way. The other question, I guess, would be, how do I find out the entity direction? because I'm gonna have some building plans. For example, this guy that depends on it being built in the correct direction. So the entity is going to have a position. Is there an orientation? Smooth orientation. Direction. Current direction this entity is facing. Okay, well, let's do the normal debug thing. Okay, so I'm at 6635. So, oh, I do want to play to print, that's fine. Game.player.surface.get entities. Find entities? I never remember what these freaking commands are. Surface. Okay. Surface. Find entities. Filtered. Yeah, okay. It's going to be position equals x 65 y 35. And let's just do the first one, the prototype.name. So hopefully this says burner miner drill. Alright, nothing there. Great. So let's just see what we get back. Okay, 0. Verify that this is the correct X position. 6534. That should be a 6535. Oh, god damn it. Okay, so the problem is that the entity hitbox does not actually go. Yes, there we go. The entity hitbox, you can kind of see here, doesn't quite reach the very top of that, the very top there. The little red line for that entity hitbox is just below the black line, and the coordinate origin is right on that black line. So I have to put 0.5 to put it in the middle of the thing. Okay, so let's do this prototype name. Make sure we're looking at the right thing, because there also is a call there. Sorry, we need number 1. Okay, burner miner drill, perfect. And then let's get position.x. Position.x. 65, perfect. Okay. Its position is actually probably 6536, being the start of this chunk, like that little crosshair right there, and then its hitbox is surrounded now. Anyway, so we didn't care about position. What we wanted was direction, right? Either orientation or direction. Orientation is 0. Direction is 0. Okay. So if I pick it up and I put it down facing that way, what do we get now? Direction of 2. Okay. What about orientation? Orientation is 0. Okay, so the direction is what we care about. Turns out that 0 is straight up, 2 is to the right. I'm wondering if the defines direction is... not orientation, but direction. 4, and then we get 6. My god, I'm a genius. So I think what this matches is the... yeah, this defines that direction. So north being 0, which is not usual for Lua for that to be the case. Then 0, 2, 4, and 6. So I can check if it's pointing the right direction, if it's in the right place. So, okay, so what I can do is I can create a goal to build a thing in a particular place. Interesting question is, what is the orientation of this stone furnace? Because it is not rotatable, right? So since I already have that position, I'm just going to reuse it. Oh, but if I pick it up, I can't rotate it, right? So direction is probably 0. And it's not possible to build it in any other direction. So, okay, great. So what I'm saying here is that I want to build a stone furnace, and I want to... I guess I could set up my place building task to be a... I'm going to make this play... I'm going to make another one for building task, but anyway. Okay, so place building... I'm going to make it optional what position parameters it takes, because we're going to have to figure something out there. Okay, good. Let's just roll with it. Okay, so we're going to place the building task. Let's just grab this guy. Copy that. Paste it. This is going to be player place building task. Okay. Now, place building task achieved is going to be based on what? What I would like would be for each tick, check the location that I told it to build at. Now, in the case that I don't specify a location, maybe I just need to find the best location for it. Alright, so in this case, I'm going to actually put a position. Let's just say 5-5. No idea if that's going to be useful on whatever map. And then orientation, we're going to say it has to be 0. Direction equals defines direction north. Okay, so we got pretty specific there, but hopefully that's okay. So, local player, So I'm actually going to leave the set goal description, and then we'll check if it's still to be placed. So let's say still to place. It's true. But then we're going to get the list of entities. So local entities being player.surface. It's filtered. Position being the self.position where it was asked to be built. And then we can leave that there. And then this is going to be still to place. Okay. This logic for still to place is actually going to be... So we could actually make this a self still to place. Please put a... Set the position at X. And I think for niceness, I'm going to also put the player's position in there. And that's going to be player.position.x comma position.y. Okay. Please put a thing at thing. space. There, pause. And then for this guy, this is always going to be self-started. Yes, because we're just going to do that once. Okay, so now for each of the entities, entity in pairs of entities. If the entity dot prototype dot type name equals self.type. So if this is the kind of thing that we're talking about, and entity dot direction equals self.direction. Let's make sure we do a double equals there and don't drive myself insane. Then self.still to place equals false. So it's no longer still to place. Which means since this is here, we can actually use still to place up here. Place. We can actually do this on false, just so that we hit it for the first time. No, that will not work. So at the start here, we would say self still to place equals true. Try true. And this will be actually if not still to place or false. Okay, great. So this is, yeah, so that's going to be true, which will make this false, and then the all false will be, I don't know if this is going to work. Whatever, we'll see. Okay, great. So please put a blah at blah. Excellent. So my control.lua, I'm actually going to move this one up just so that we can see that it works. I'll put it after my get pickaxes. And then here we go. So I'm just using restart because that'll restart the wait, place building task. Yeah, I didn't do the requiring. Building. One day I'll learn how to type. It'll be really useful. One day, I will learn how to type. Okay, great. So it tells me what my position is. It tells me where it wants me to build that furnace. I don't know if it's actually going to be possible. I'm in 4, the next one down, this is 5, so I need to build the furnace here. Oh, I need to build it over the top of that, okay. Hey! Built the stone furnace, what do you know, you guys? It totally works. Okay, let's go back to here and get rid of this unbuilt entity. Give it one more go, just to be sure. Okay, so let's go down to 5. So this line is 5. This line is 4. That's 5 there. So now I need to go boop. The goal went away. My goal machine didn't tell me that I was completed. And I didn't get to this gather resource task. That's a little weird. I wonder what's going on in my goals. So the fact that that went away means that this happened. Oh. This is gonna be not still close, right? So if I don't still have it to place, that's why we test. I know what. Why do we now skip this task? Probably because I messed this up. How about we make this turn true? True or false? False. Okay, great. Run, how you living? Skip my task again. This is very weird. I'm guessing this is messed up. Not self dot still the place. Looks like this is true. If there is an entity at the position, why are we skipping this? What am I doing wrong here? Still to place is kind of a weird name. So let's say placed. Okay, so if placed, then we're gonna do this. If it's placed, we're done. We're gonna return true, otherwise we're gonna return false. Self.placed here is gonna be false. And here, self.placed is gonna be true. So I've just flipped everything around there, because still to place is like a negative kind of phrase. Okay. Let's try that. So my objective should tell me to build a stone furnace. And I have no objective. Okay, great. Push up. If not placed. Okay, forgot that one. I don't have this still to place anyway, right? No. Okay, great. There we go. Okay, so place the furnace at 5, 5. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. Yes. And then 0, 5. So we got that little crosshair there. Right here. Beautiful. Now we go into the iron ore objective. Start mining the iron ore. Notice the objective is going down as I collect iron ore. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now change. Go and get a coal. And we're done. Whew. All right. So that's cool. Okay, next thing on my list is to start smelting So once we put this down, let's put it down here. The positions of these things are going to get a little weird because we're going to need to like think about building the building near where we are, or maybe even halfway between other resources. But for now, let's just go with that. I might even take this seed because this is not a bad layout, at least at the beginning. You can sort of start building a bit of a base in here. Unfortunately, it means I have to like do all this shenanigans. Nice AI land. Map exchange string. Why can't I get my map exchange string? Well, okay, that's a problem. That's a problem with my custom scenario. Can't get the map exchange string. All right, well, never mind. I wish there was a good way to get the random seed from. Okay, what if I can get it from here? Because I think from the surface, can you get the map config? Map gen settings. Seed. Alright, so I can actually get it. So let's try. Okay. What are we doing here? Print game.player.surface dot map gen settings dot seed. Okay. 155667. Where's my pen? One, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 2, 9, 4, 4. Okay, great. I don't know why it wouldn't let me. I guess there are like scenario things that you may need, and free play has that available. Okay, so I have the seed. We can go ahead and quit this at any time. Wait, starting area? Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. Oh, shift with height. Auto place controls. Dictionary of string to table. Each table of the dictionary has the following fields: frequency, size, richness. Oh yeah, I see. Auto place is one of those things. Gotcha. Okay. So I'm going to reuse this, but first I need to have some kind of task for smelting, starting some smelting. So this is where I think I need to have a concept of like a factory that has inputs and outputs, and my player needs to be able to interact with that. So maybe my goal machine, when you place the stone furnace, that's going to be a building that takes in like fuel and iron, or fuel and whatever, and produces that whatever plate. Getting kind of complicated now. Okay, well, in the meantime, let's just do this. So I need to turn all of those iron into iron plate. So let's copy this task and ask the player to gather iron plate. I think that's the name of the... Okay. And then we also need to gather 5 stone. So let's just actually put 5 stone above that. So we're kind of ironing over some of the steps that are harder for the AI to actually do on its own, mainly because I haven't written the code for it yet. So the iron plate gathering resource task is actually composed of me putting iron ore into a furnace, and then coming back later and pulling out 9 iron plates. Just going to clear out those tasks because I don't need them anymore. So if we restart the game now, we should have enough instruction here to actually get to the point of building a new miner. I'm not going to put the instruction there to build the miner because I don't know the coordinate that I want to put it at, but we'll get there eventually. So let's quit the game. Let's do a custom scenario. And let's put in that map seed, which was 15566782944. Totally did that from memory. Did I make it too long? 66782 What did I do wrong here? Okay, so it's only 156. Okay, so please go and gather 9 iron ore. I am the machine. This is the Mechanical Turk approach to Factorio AI. Okay, let's go gather 1 coal. Please place a stone furnace. So it's going to be here. Nope. So it's 3, 4, 5, 4. That's 5. So here. There we go. So I happen to know that the next step is going to be to get those iron plates. So I'm going to put the coal in here, and I'm going to put all but 1 of the steel in there. Okay, so I'm going to go the 5 stone this way. Hey Witsy, how you doing? Alright, so now it's going to tell me to go gather 9 iron plate. Excellent. Come on down here, and as I pull these out, I wish there was a way that I could pull them out one at a time, but that should go down to 8. Excellent. So I take them all, I tell them I want 1, put that in there, and then once it's finished, I can pop it. Great. Completed goals. So we have the instructions now getting us to the point where we have the ingredients to build a burner miner drill. Now the question is that we want to use the mining drill to, we obviously we can't put it down anywhere unless it's on, well, now we have 2. We can't put it anywhere that isn't on top of resources. So it has to go onto a resource tile, at least one of its legs. So I'm now at a point where I need to locate resources and so on and so on. So I need to do a little bit of base planning, which is going to be just immensely complicated. So I think what I'm actually going to try and do is figure out where I can place this furnace such that I'm going to build the burner miner drill next to it, pointing onto the stone furnace, which means that I'm probably just going to find the nearest iron ore patch and put the stone furnace on top of it. Probably going to be my bet. So if I was to take this and drop it here, thank God, it would be encapsulating all of those things. So as long as I put it anywhere with like covering, pretty much be this guy, probably this 1 iron ore, do something like that. And then the next step would be please build a burner miner drill in a position and direction such that it inserts directly into that thing. The next challenge will be detecting when things are fueled and how they're fueled. So maybe I'm going about this slightly wrong. Perhaps the next step actually should be to have a building planner. And instead of building an individual building, you consider like a module of the base as a building. And so then this configuration here of a burner miner drill feeding into a stone furnace would be a module and requires coal as fuels into a number of buildings. And then the output we can take from here would be iron plates. And then if we had any future tasks to fetch iron plates, then we could come back to, we could look at our modules, see what modules have those things available, and then come and get them. So, all of this to say that I need to now start thinking about some other architectural pieces for the AI itself. So let's jump into how that's going to work. So controllers I've been talking about recently have been tasks, and I have this goal machine. Excuse me. What I'm thinking I'm going to do next is set up a new kind of controller that is kind of an ongoing task. And it's going to get called every single tick. The goal machine is going to know about these ongoing tasks. And if there are, if it needs to, that task will enqueue something for the player to do. So, and one of those things that I'm going to also try to keep track of is the player's tools. So if the player has the technology for a steel axe, all hail steel axe. Wait, can you build steel axe from the beginning? I don't think so. You need steel working, right? Yes. So if you have the technology for a steel axe, then it would go ahead and like enqueue that if you don't have any steel axes. And then it would probably try and maintain that you have at least a quarter of an axe at all times. So if your axe is getting less, so let's go ahead and start with that because I think that's a good place to start. I'm going to call these maintenance. Maintenance is not really a great task or name for it, but basically we want this to be an ongoing thing that you do. So it's like a sustained task or something. Let's call it managers. Because my ultimate goal is I'm going to have like a resource manager, a power manager, all that kind of stuff. So in here, let's do a tool manager. I'm also transitioning to using the underscore convention from Lua, just because I guess that's kind of a convention that Lua has. Let's close other tabs. Let's grab task.lua. So I do kind of like having this kind of like a structure of an achievement tick, but I think for the manager I just need to do an update tick and nothing else really. So let's just do this as a manager. Manager. I'm not going to need an achieve because the managers will never actually close up. Hey Zukon. Yes, I'm building an AI, a mod which implements an AI to control the player, so that the player will, so that it will play itself and complete the game on its own. The challenge, the thing that I'm doing right now is I'm at the point of, let me see if I can demonstrate. Use the map seed. Okay. Generating. Yes. Okay. So so the way that I'm doing it right now, I had some trouble building in pathfinding, so having the character figure out how to get to a particular location without hitting any obstacles. So what I'm working on right now is the strategic level. So in game AI, you have a strategy layer, which is sort of deciding what in general you need to do. And for Factorio, that's things like build a power plant or build a particular factory for a particular product. And then there's the tactical level, which is sort of the implementation layer, if you will. So in that case, it would be like move to a particular point, dig up some stuff out of the ground, place a particular building here or there. For now, to avoid the pathfinding problem, which has been kind of difficult, I've implemented the system where up all the way up there, you can, not on my map, but in the game, up here in the game, it puts up an objective for the player to complete. So it's saying, please go and gather 9 iron ore. So if I run over to my ore and I right click and I'm gathering ore, as I pick up each ore, that number will go down, as you can see. And so it's kind of like using the strategy level of the AI, but not the tactical level of the AI. I'm playing the tactical level, but the game is still implementing, or my AI is implementing the strategy level. some kind of grip. Use the rubber points to locate built-in blocks and walking blocks. Not sure what you mean by grip. Also, every time I start the game, I start fresh and new, so I don't have any of those. I don't have any of those things, rubber ports or anything else. Okay. So okay, that's what I'm doing so far. All right, so this is the manager class. Let's get back to tool manager, and we're going to require manager. I need to do dot slash here. I think I do. Oh no, I don't. Okay. Been doing JavaScript for too long. This is going to be the tool manager. Manager.new. And call it. And then tool manager. Tick. It's going to take some args. And what the tool manager is going to do is take a look at the player's tool inventory, which I believe is a specific kind of inventory on an entity. Entity, module inventory, fuel inventory. Oh, output inventory. Interesting. Okay. Is there a tool inventory? No. Get inventory. And you get it. Okay. So I have the player coming through an args up player. Oops. Will Bob's mods break the AI? In theory, you could use Bob's mods with this AI. You'd have to probably rewrite the strategy level, the strategy layer a little bit, and if there are any mechanics that Bob's mods adds, then if there are any new mechanics, then you would need to implement, I guess, the tactical layer. But I mean, from what I know about Bob's mods, it adds a bunch more like fluids and buildings and resources and all that kind of stuff, right? So you would theoretically be able to do that. You just need to implement all the right tasks. Yeah, Zukon, this is programming. Welcome to programming. Right now we're working in Lua. Lua is the language that you use to write mods. So that's what we're writing this mod in. Okay. So we have a player, and we're going to look in the player's tool inventory. So player get character get inventory defines inventory. I'm not a genius. I'm a software engineer by day, so this is sort of my this is my day job. But doing it for games is a lot more fun. Well, I guess I don't want to say a lot more fun because I do have fun at my job as well. Okay, so if I'm going to get the inventory, that's going to be back a Lua inventory. Get inventory. Get content's going to be a string. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do get context. Get contents. So that's going to be what my current tool set is. And I'm guessing for the tool inventory it's only going to be one entry, so it's going to be something along the lines of iron axe to like so the number of iron axes you have. I am actually interested to figure out how it keeps track of, because it's just keeping a count, right? So I'm wondering how it keeps track of like how much durability your iron axe has. I wonder if that's a oh, interesting. I wonder if that's an ammo or something like that. Little item stack. Is it a blueprint item? Fuel value, maybe? Well, let's have a look at what comes out in the game. So I can get my character's inventory. Okay. player character dot get defines inventory player tools. And then what are we looking at here? Stack inventory. Can we just do number of slots? Get item count for that item. If not specified, count all items. Okay, great. So let's just do that. Can I execute command? Oh, I'm stupid. 2. Okay, cool. Durability was there? Oh. Really? On what? Oh. There you go. So I can add it or drain it. Can I get it? Oh, durability of the container. There you go. Okay, so come on now. So that's going to be for an item stack. I have 2. Find item stack by item. Indexing operator. Will that give me the item at index whatever? What does it give you there? Okay. So I know that I can get the item count and there are 2 items in there. And those will be my 2 axes, I'm hoping. If I do get contents, that'll give me back some dictionary. How do I... Is a draggable red thing? Oh, no, I don't want that. Get the item count. Well, I guess we could do get item count of iron axe. And that will tell you how many iron axes I have. Great. And so then I could do get item. I could do get contents iron axe. Get contents baba iron axe. And then this should give me back 2. Yes, great. Which is probably what that function does on the inside. But what I need to do is this guy. Find item stack. Gets the first Lua item stack in the inventory that matches the given name. Okay. Iron axe. And then once I have the stack, then I can get the durability, right? Okay. Is there max durability? When using a non-tool item, capture the item's max durability. Okay, so the durability is 2774, and I mean I can look here and see that it's out of 4000. Where do I get the 4000 from? I guess the item prototype? Prototype, here we go. Prototype of the item held in the stack. And then this should have a durability. Okay. So prototype durability. And show me potato salad. Hey! Zukon. If I program it to beat the game in less than 2 hours, yes, I will send it. I will send it over to you. No worries. Okay, so that's how we get the durability. That's how we find out if we have an iron axe. So what we can do is in here we can get the player's tools. So we don't actually want to get contents, I don't think, because the contents will give us contents. Where was it? Is that dictionary? What am I looking at here? Item stack, come on. Inventory, get contents. This guy, yes, that's the dictionary. I don't actually hear about the dictionary. Although I guess I could get the contents and check if it has... okay, so check if it has iron axes. Yeah, unfortunately Lua is not super great. Item count -1 times max durability plus current durability. That would give the stacks total durability. You are correct. That would work. Yes. Good call, AJ Rennie. If I had sound effects and like high fives and symbols and all that kind of stuff, then I would totally like ding, give you a plus whatever. Okay, great. So let's just worry about managing iron axes right now. So local axe count is going to be equal to tools iron axe or 0. So if we get nothing back from the tools dictionary, then we're going to have that. We're going to have 0. If we have 0, then we're in big trouble, but whatever. So then we are going to assume, let's say if the axe count... Well, let's get the total durability, because I think what we can do then is we can just say if the durability is less than whatever we're sort of intending it to be. The problem is... What happens if find item stack doesn't give anything else? Or nil. Okay, great. Oh man, the docs. The Lua API docs. So broken. Okay. So I guess actually the other way that we could do this, let's do it this way. Let's do local axes, or axes stack, is going to be the player.character get inventory, and instead of get contents, we are going to do that find Lua item stack. Yeah, find item stack for iron axe. Okay, so now we have the stack. So if the axe stack is nil, or the total durability per AJ Rani's formula is less than, let's say, half of whatever the max durability of one axe would be, then we're gonna do another, like, enqueue a task to get another axe, or to craft another axe. Because that's going to be basically the tool manager's job. It's going to be like, hey, make sure you have some fucking axes. So, let's, if not, well, let's just say axe stack equals nil. Then. Else if the axe stack, so the item stack, is there a count in here? Yes, count, great. Axe stack dot count -1 times axe stack dot prototype dot durability. Ability, yes. Plus the axe stack durability. Ability, yes, great. Yeah, just bracket that up. If the axe stack's durability is less than the prototype durability times some factor, let's say half. Let's do the replace factor. Just throw that up here. queue the task to make more. And otherwise, we're not going to do anything. The other interesting thing here is that this is going to hold each tick of the game. So if we end up getting into this place, we're going to end up in queuing a lot of tasks. So we probably want to do something like in queue a new task if it's not the current task or something like that. Not really sure. So the way my current task manager works is it basically has a linked list. It's the goal machine. So you can push goals and so on and so on. There is a self.goals.current. I could say get current and then just check its type. Not totally sure how to check the type of a goal of a class in Lua. Let's find out. Something to type up maybe? Introspection. Oh my god. Lua, why? Lua feels like such a hamstrung language. Alright, well this is dumb. Okay, so now what it's saying is basically I need to go into each task and put its name, even though it's defined. Could I look at the... Can I get the meta table? This seems like a kind of a dumb idea. Okay, so let's say the tool manager. Well, how about if we enqueue the task, and then inside the tool manager tick, we wait until that task is achieved, and if it is achieved, then we forget about it, and then we go back to checking normally. Okay, great. Let's do it that way. So if self.task does not equal nil. No, if self.task does equal nil, then I'm going to indent all of that. Great. We're going to do this thing. So this is going to be to enqueue the task and to set the task. Now, I kind of want to make these both the same if statement because I just don't really know how to make it look nice. I guess I can just put on a new line. Do it like this. X stack equals no. Or it's kind of hard to read just because I have it all moved over here because my window is kind of small to fit in the the 720p. Zukon, it's Meta-Factorio. It's the automation game, we're automating it. Alright. So we're going to enqueue a task. Great. So arguments were also being passed. You'll see when the goal machine ticks, we also pass the machine through the args. So we're going to create a new task to craft recipe, I guess. Again, craft recipe is a bit more of a tactical task, and what we're talking about here is more of like a goal to build an iron axe. An iron axe has ingredients and yada 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 that you need to find. Specifically, your iron axe needs total 4 iron plates, and so what we could do is we could insert a task for getting the iron plates, then a task for crafting the iron axe, and then move on from there. Again, we're kind of mixing the strategic and tactical layers a little bit, but we're working on it. So we're going to create the enqueuing of tasks. So let's take a look at how this works here. We get the machine, we push next, and we create some new tasks in there. So args.machine, push next. Push next means that we're going to enqueue it after this task. What we actually want to do is, I guess, push start, because we're pushing it at the very beginning. Push start, a list of goals. And the first in that list is going to be a player gather resources task. And the player gather resources task is going to need a type and a quantity. So we could get a little more abstract here and look at the iron axe recipe, and then use that to generate the player resource tasks, which is actually be kind of a cool thing to do. Let's just for now get this working so that the tool manager will automatically set up the tasks for us, but we can come back and do that. So the player gather resource task is going to try and get some iron plate, and we're going to get a quantity. Wait, did I do QTY or quantity? QTY, good. And we said it needs 4, right? Yep, total raw is 4 iron plates. Okay. So once we've gathered those resources, we're going to do the craft recipe task. So the craft recipe, thankfully, is super easy to do. So let's come back to control.lua. Just going to craft recipe. Boop. And here we only need 1 because we're just keeping up. Okay. Now it might be that at the time that we do this, of course now we're getting into some real crazy crap, because imagine you had a gather resources task for your burner miner drill, and you just finished that task, and it says, okay, now go place your, now craft your burner miner, right? And as you finish the iron plate and it puts in the burner miner task, it realizes that you need a new axe. So then it says, hey, I'm going to use 4 iron plates to create a new iron axe. And then what that would do would mean that you would have not enough resources to build your burner miner once you had created this iron axe, but there wouldn't be a task to go and get the resources, so you'd be stuck with not enough resources. So that's another problem that we're going to have to keep an eye on. We may have to package up some of the tasks into meta tasks, or like sort of super tasks maybe, so that they can all get completed as a group without being interrupted. But then for this task, you do want it to be interrupted, because you want to make sure that you have an axe at all times, because if you run out of axe, then you're gonna be in trouble. Zukon, no, you only need 4. Look here, right here. See, the total raw is 4. Because you get 2 iron sticks for 1 plate, I believe. Yep, 2 iron 6 for 1 plate. Okay. So I think this will work. I think. Let's try it. So basically, now we're going to create a new manager, tool manager, and we want our goal machine to keep track of all of the managers. So let's talk about the goal machine add manager. So self.managers equals either that or an empty array. And then self.managers with the number of managers plus 1. So we're going to insert it at the next slot. It's going to be this manager, this new manager. Then for each tick, if we have a goal, we're going to try and do it, but before that we're going to update all of the managers. So if there are any managers, for I manager in pairs, and we're going to give it the player equals arg.player. Machine equals self. No worries, Zukon. Be excited. AI is exciting. So my, not actually ever referring to self. Oh, I am actually self.task. Oh, I also forgot. Okay, so I need to handle this. This craft recipe needs to be the task. So self.task equals craft recipe, because this is our ultimate goal, right? Put in self.task there. And then where is my end? That's that. That's else. Okay, if okay, so we're going to keep track of that last task by keeping a reference to it, and then once the task is done, we're going to set it back to nil, which means next time we will just keep checking to see if we need another axe. I'm hoping that's all going to work. I have a feeling I'm calling these functions all wrong. I feel like I should be calling them like that. Probably should be. Which means this needs to be managed colon tick. Okay. Great. So now I have my add manager function here on the goal machine. We have the tick on it. We may need to remove a manager at the end of the day. So I could imagine there being I guess even in the early game, you're going to have a little furnace and a little thing where you need to keep fueling it. Yeah, we're going to need to work on this managers API quite a lot. But let's get back to the control. We've created our goal machine here. So let's remove the craft new recipe here. And let's add a manager being a tool manager new. That, and then we need to add the control for the tool manager. Okay. Okay, so now at the start of the game, because I have the manager built in, it should instruct me to build the iron axe from the beginning. Actually, no, it will just do it itself, because yeah, we should already have the iron plate, because you start off with enough iron plate to build 2 iron axes, and then everything should just work, but you know, it's not going to work the first time because it never does. Oh, let's just do a restart. We don't care about the seed in this case. There you go. Play gather resources task is nil. Manager line 17. To manager 17. Oh, right, I need to do some requiring. So it's back up to the controllers tasks. Play gather resources task. Craft recipe task. Okay. I don't care about the random seed. I semi-care. Whoa! Controllers manages tasks. Does this dot dot not allow me to go up? Does it ignore? AIMod controllers manages tasks. Player gather resources, no such file. Controllers manages tool manager. But in that module, dot dot slash tasks slash player gather resources task. Not found.
Everybody. However, I'm starting to see this world in the right light. Yet it still gets darker. You see, it's just a simple symphony or a painting. Whatever.
Okay, so I can't do a dot dot on the require.
It spans infinitely. Let it collapse.
AIMod slash tasks. Okay, so can I just do controllers here?
In the midst of summer, it won't exist. This emptiness, it's just a blank slate.
I'm pretty sure I use a util from inside of here. Yeah, I'm using the logger inside a bunch of places. Dot dot slash util. Which now that I look at it, I realize is wrong, because you're inside the task. You go dot dot. Weird. Maybe that's only accidentally working with the dot dot. Alright, well. I'm a genius, I didn't even know it. Try again. Nope. AIMod controllers, manages, controller, no. AIMod controller. Typos. I will never understand Lua. Hey! The game started, but then immediately crashed. Play gather resources task. What? A required play gather resources task. I don't understand. Player gather seriously? Resources. Everything should be resources. Control. Resources. Alright. And go. Attempt to call global. A table value. Did I like just, yeah, totally derp on how to actually... I mean, this has got a comma there, that's fine, okay. I know how to program. I know how to write the codes. Goal machine, attempt to get length of local goals, a nil value, 49. Wait, what? Oh. Why? Nice. Look at that. Who's gonna gather 4 iron plate? What do I need that for? Game? Wait, does it want me to build another one? If the axe count -1 times the durability plus the current stack durability is less than the prototype durability times 0.5. Maybe this axe stack is always coming back nil. Let's just do that real quick. Make sure that's not me being insane. Util/logger. This is the tool manager. Okay, and we're going to if axe stack equals nil, log no axes. Okay, so now I can go and look at my handy dandy log. Tail. It only said it once, so it should not have happened again. For the purposes of debugging, total let's just call it durability. There's that log. Ah, crap. My axe stack could be nil coming into this block. Let's just fix that. So durability was there. Let's move this inside here. Okay. Stack not equal nil. Then durability. Fix that. Else we're going to log this because we decided that it was. Okay, great. Get rid of that if. We can move this log up into here. There, well, let's just say axe durability. This is going to spam a lot because we're going to get 1 for each tick every time we check, which means I'm going to put this down to the debug level. And we know that the prototype durability is 4,000, so it should be greater than 2,000. Actually, if we get in here, then this should be spamming because this durability should be... Alright, well, let's see what happens. Okay, so if we're going to make it debug, then I have to jump back up here and set my logger level to be debug. Degub. Okay. Okay, so let's restart our game. Put this open. Should see this start spamming some stuff. Interesting. So the durability that I'm seeing is actually the count of axes in the stack. Also, I'm getting that debug twice when it should have only come up once. Because once we get into here, oh, I must have seen it once, built another axe, and then I saw it again. Okay, so axe stack count minus, oh, ha 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 ha. Oh my god, math. So the 1 times durability was happening first. Well, that still doesn't seem quite right. But I mean, well, so it's definitely right that the 1 times was happening first. I would still expect count minus the prototype's durability, because 1 times prototype durability is going to be 4,000. But at like 1 minus 4,000 should be minus 399. I mean, this axe stack durability should be very strange. Don't fully understand how we got that number, but let's find out. See if it's okay, so now my durability is fine. So I did it once, and now since that durability is there, so now it's going to go and get iron ore. This is a cool starting point with a copper and iron like this. Not a lot of coal around though. Coal, so far away. I was actually watching Colonel Will earlier today, and he made the observation that if you come across any of those big stones at the beginning of the game, they're actually really useful to mine. I don't know if this is going to be possible. And I think that was in water. It's 5. Yeah. -5, -5 is like over here. Rip. Well, there goes that idea. Anyways. Cool. So, alright, let's go back to control and turn this logger level off. So go back to info. The logger is something that I actually built a couple days ago. So if you wanted to check that out on GitHub, it is up on GitHub. Okay. So now what I think I need to do is put a bit more intelligence into the player place building task. And I guess what I need is actually to think about like building a blueprint. Before I do that, I'm going to take a quick break. Just going to grab some water and then I'll come right back. So I'll just be right back. Okay. I'm going to make this a little more specific when getting to boot power. What we're really doing, base planning. Okay, let's crack out paint. So, the first thing I want to do is start. Well, we have a first act. That's right. Yeah, this is how we do it. But you do it manually once, and then you automate. That's how Factorio works. All right. So the goal with the buildings is that we're going to. My first building that I'm going to do is going to be the drill into furnace. So the drill into the furnace is going to require. Let's just say a drill and a furnace. Bob, bob, bob. Okay, so let's just do gray for a drill, red for a furnace, design. A little arrow, there, yellow, like that. Rubber pots. Yeah, rubber pots are awesome, but it takes a while to get there. And I mean, that's definitely going to be one of the things that we have on our agenda as an AI player. Oh, we make this feel solid. It's definitely going to be on the agenda towards the end of the, like, once everything is working. But like, as I kind of started off with, here's my list of. Let's see if I get this. Here's a list of all of the tasks that I came up with in order to get to a basic power plant, not even including building the conveyor belt to go from the coal into the power plant. So you're totally right in terms of like getting to, like, once we get to that point, it's gonna be dead easy, because then we can just tell the player to drop in the drop down blueprints or delete zones or whatever. But we gotta crawl before we can walk, and we definitely have to like learn how to like put our hand on the ground before we can crawl. So let me just jump back here. Okay, so how do I, what color 2? Come on. What color 2? Okay, I don't care anymore. Okay, so this is our drill here. So this is going to be a 4x2 box, and there are requirements for the kinds of tiles that this is going to go on. So these guys have to be whatever the resource is that we're trying to collect, and then we also have the requirement to keep both of these things fueled. For coal, I mean, obviously for coal, you're not going to be feeding it into a furnace. These ones can be anything. For coal, you're obviously not going to be feeding it into a furnace, but for coal, I would probably end up using the back-to-back fueling drills, so it would just be two drills pointing at each other, which is pretty common. And then that would only require a single piece of fuel in one of them to kick it off, right? So in this case, our building has this concept of... why did that do that? How do I make a new window? Notepad. Oh my god. Team, please. Oh god. Alright, we don't want that. Let's just do a new one. So we're talking about here in terms of the way that the like, I guess, base modules. So they'll have some geometry, which will probably end up being something like a list of tiles. Types. And that's going to be based on like an offset from some start position. So I'll keep going, and then we can come back to what that might look like. On top of the geometry, it's going to have the required buildings and their build positions and their directions. So we need to build a miner to point in a particular direction. We're going to build what's it called, a furnace, and it doesn't really matter. Then there's also, even once it's been built, there's going to be this sense of inputs and outputs. So the inputs are going to be consumers of probably fuel, but it could also be ingredients, recipe ingredients. And then the outputs is going to be providers of some end product. And the reason I'm kind of trying to keep this very general is so that I can reuse this to represent not only just the normal or basic like one drill into one furnace paradigm, but also to go into the world where we're talking about factories and we have robot arms putting things onto conveyor belts and conveyor belts running around, and then we can start really having the AI build its own spaghetti, and that will be delicious. Okay. Then the other thing is that we're going to probably have some kind of a manager to manage the supply of resources. So if we have a task to collect iron plates, we can ask our manager, or we could have a manager look at the task at the front of the queue and see if there's a way that that manager can provide instead, and then it would substitute the task instead. So we would just remove that task that's on the top of the queue and change it to be a task to collect rather than to like dig stuff out of the ground or whatever, and that can kind of take over. There may be a little bit more re-architecture that needs to go on here to make that work, but that's okay. We'll figure that out. So, excuse me. So the base module is going to need to have some kind of, I guess, static storage. Like I'm just going to need to define them in my code. It's probably okay to do that, but yeah. Okay, so let's talk about how the this build setup would be. So this is a burner miner drill and a furnace. So we're going to have some kind of a class. Burner to furnace module. Yes. It's going to be this thing. Let me just pop this guy into comments. Up. And actually, let's put this back as a... Save this as a file. Oh god, we're in the way wrong folder. Okay, so let's just cut that, close this. Okay. Folder. Burner to furnace. Okay, great. So the burner to furnace module is going to be this thing. It has a geometry. And I'm only going to consider the case where maybe we're building it with the furnace on the right and the burner on the left. So what we're going to need is 4 tiles. So if we consider let's say the top left is the starting point. So that means that we're going to need, the geometry is going to be a list of tiles. So start it off as this thing. Each item is going to have a position. X is going to be 0, 0. So X is going to be 0, Y is going to be 0. And what we're doing here is I'm going through here. This is 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. Oh god. Writing in Paint is real hard. So actually I'm going to leave that. Oh, come on. That one. There we go. Great. So the thing there needs to be cool. Maybe I'll paint this. I'm going to leave it as tile. Actually I'm going to make it resource. Okay, great. The reason I changed my mind there is because there are particular kinds of buildings, for example, the power modules, I should say, for example, the power plant, that require a tile of water, which is different to a resource of coal. If you've been watching when I've been doing pathfinding stuff, there's a difference between the way that Factorio handles resources and entities like trees, coal, iron, rocks, and tiles like water or grass or desert. So I'm just going to keep that a little bit more abstract or I guess specific in terms of what specifically that position needs to have. So I'm going to keep going through here and put in the other 4 positions that need to be coal. So that's going to be x0, y1, x1, y0, and x1, y1. And then the next 4 positions just need to be any passable terrain. So I'm actually going to leave that resource flag off. And then this is going to start at x2, y0. This is going to be 3, 1, and 1. Okay. So that defines all of the squares that we need on the geometry side. Then we talk about the buildings. So it's going to be a list of required buildings, their position and their direction. So let's do that. So the building type. So we tell the AI now where he finds the coal. Yeah, so the idea here is that we can have a build module task that will automatically locate an appropriate place in the world to build this module, and then it will enqueue the place building tasks, which we've already been using to the player place building task, which we've already been using to put down the furnace. And so then I'll get instructions like, please build a thing here, please build a thing there, and then it will set it up. Okay, great. So the building type is going to be burner drill. I don't actually remember what the prototype for that is called. Just jump in here. Prototypes. Mining drill. Electric mining drill. Burner mining drill. So the burner mining drill is going to go at position equals. Now the way that Factorio does its positioning, I actually need to put it at this coordinate here. Let me do this in another color, maybe. Brush. That coordinate there, which is going to be 1, 1, not 0, 0. 0, 0 would be up here in this top corner. But the way that Factorio handles it is basically it puts it in and then the box goes around like this. You've probably seen the yellow box when you mouse over stuff. So position is going to be x equals 1, y equals 1. And then the direction it needs to be defines direction. Let's say we're just going to do it exactly like this. So east. Okay. Next type would be stone furnace. Furnace, yes. Position is going to be x of 3 and y of 1. Okay. And then the direction, we could leave it undefined. For a stone furnace, you can't do any rotations. For the... We might run into a little bit of trickiness there, but I mean, we can just default it to north, because that's what it comes out as anyway. Okay, great. So those are the 2 buildings. Now, for the inputs and outputs. So inputs... Basically what we want to say is that the this building is going to need... both of them are actually going to need to be fueled by fuel. And then whether or not that's ongoing or not, right? So... Okay, that's fine. So we can put in an item here, an input item. So that's going to be... building, let's say 1, because this will be building number 1 and this will be building number 2. Now, I think there's a particular kind of inventory, right? But let's just do this for now. Coal. Takes coal ongoing. It's true. And let's just do the same for building up 2. And then outputs. Oh, we also, for building number 2, we want to give it iron ore. And then for outputs, building number 2 is going to get iron plate. I don't know if ongoing really makes sense for outputs, because it's kind of as long as you put it in. Okay, Cool. I think that looks okay. We could also have the modules implement a recipe. So then you just provide it the recipe of baking iron ore into iron plate, and then it would kind of know like where the inputs and outputs of that recipe come from. Zukon, how does he know where to find the coal? Well, same way that we're going to find out where to get the iron ore from and everything else. Basically, for now, I'm implementing it with the player gather resource task, so it'll ask me to go and get it, and I just need to find it and go get it. I do have a gather resources task, which will search for that type of resource, and then create a move to place task, where he'll run to that spot and then mine the resource, where he swings his pickaxe and actually picks it up. Okay, so this is the module. Now, I think I'm okay with that. The tricky part now is figuring out how to find entities such that it satisfies this condition. Maybe it's not that hard. The question is really the search range. How far away do you look? Okay, so let's create a task for a build module. Task. Okay, so let's just copy this, build module, paste. We have to tell him he cannot locate it himself. Not yet. Okay, so for the build module task, whether or not it's achieved is actually relatively easy. We can just check for each building that needs to be built, is that building in the correct position? Which is the same as our place building. Actually, I guess for here we just need to check if the last task in our goal list for this building, for this module, is complete. So I don't need that. Do. If self.goal not equal no. Return self.goal achieved with the same args. Otherwise, we're going to return false. So if we've set a goal, we're going to be done with this when the last goal is done. Otherwise, we're not done. So for the build module task, this is probably wrong. We're probably going to just change that back to set goal. Set goal. Okay, great. So first thing we're going to do is take a look at the recipe. So we need to find a geometry that satisfies these conditions. So we could set a precedent here that we need, that like the things that we're going to need is that resource. So we could you're all good, Zukon. Don't worry. I'm happy to teach as I go. Okay, so required resources. It's going to be some object. Now, what we want to do is for each thing in the module that we're building. So for I, pairs of self module geometry do. So we're looking at each, let me just see if I can close these tabs. Okay. So for each of these items, what we're going to do is we're going to collect the resource. And I think it's going to make most sense to find the most demanded resource. I'm just trying to think if there are any kind of tiles, any kind of modules that I want to build that would require multiple resources. I don't think there would be. I think we would just get to the point of having one. We're only going to need one. It will either be a resource type or water. So how about we just do this? Let's just do resources. And that's going to be a list, and we're going to put it coal as that. I'm pretty sure there's only going to be one here. Alright, well, let's do it this way then. Let's just make it resource. Because I'm pretty sure there's only going to be one. I can't think of any module for a base that needs multiples. And if I have a resource of coal, then I can start searching for coal. If I have a tile of water for my power plant, then that is going to be a different ball game. Okay, so let's just say if self dot what is it? Module geometry. No, self dot module dot resource. Not nil. We know we need to find something within a range. Let's say 100 of the player. So let's just have a look quick at this. Resources is player service find entities filtered from the player's position minus range. So we're going to make a rectangle around the player. And then the name is going to be the resource. Okay, so now we're saying we want to get coal. We're going to find all the coals within a huge rectangle around the player. And then we're going to, for each one, start looking if that position matches the required requirements. So let's see. So for, how do I break out of a for loop in Lua? Is it possible? Oh, you can use break. Great. Syntactic reasons? Okay. Lua. Okay, great. So basically we're going to say for source. So we're going to get the resources position. Then if self dot can build at position, then let's do it and break. This might actually just be like in queue all the tasks in return. And if we get to the end of the for loop and we didn't find any possible positions for it to be built, then that is just a bad, cannot build, let's put a name on the, bonus to bonus. Okay. We'll say cannot build dot self dot module dot name. and that's going to be a warning. And then the next time it's just going to happen again. So, maybe we set a goal to move to some other region. We just say move 100 units to the east. And maybe we'll get lucky in that position. Okay. So let's figure out this can build a position function. Can build that position, given a position. Okay, so given the position, what we want to do now is for each position in the geometry, we want to validate that, I mean, especially in this case, those tiles are not water. So I guess what we're going to do is just, unless that position requires it to be water, we want to validate the tile is not water. And then we also want to check that it has the required resource at the position. So let's start with that. So for each item in the geometry, verify. It's not impossible. So it's not water. Unless it should be. And B has the resource needs, if it needs one. Great. Oh, Zukon, you're from Vienna? Dude, I stayed in Vienna probably about this time last year. Yeah, it was probably mid-October, so mid-October last year. I love Vienna. Vienna was awesome. But don't worry, if you need to sleep, feel free to sleep. It's getting kind of late here in LA, so don't worry about that. Okay, so let's do that. For I and offset, I guess. As position. Okay, so now, no, not pairs position, pairs of the self.module.geometry. Yes, okay, great. So what we want to do is check the tile at the position. Okay, great. So now we need to do player, so we need the player. Okay. Surface, get tile. And the x is going to be position.x plus offset.x. And the y is going to be position.y plus offset.y. Okay, and then find a point. These are impossible tiles. Let's just So if it's out of map, that's like real bad. Out of map is totally bad. But if it's any of those others, I think we're okay. I'm pretty sure you can build an offshore pump on deep water. Actually, let me see. Is there something in the prototype for the deep water pump that tells? Oh, sorry, the water pump that tells you offshore pump. Fluid water, resistances, collision box, basically one pipe covers pumping speed, tile width, vehicle impact, pictures, circuit wire connection points, max difference, smoke. Wait, what? Is it defining all the smoke entities? Yeah, must be. These are not related to the pump. So there's nothing in the pump prototype itself that tells you that it must be on water, which means that, yeah, this type offshore pump must mean something inside the game. It's fine. So how do I check my name? How to put a flatbed name? tiles 1, i.e. it's out of the map, then return false. Okay, so then, well, you know what, let's do this, let's do it for each. So for I and M tile name. Do nested loops, doesn't get any better. Possible tiles, do. So if the tile prototype name equals the tile name and I equals 1, then return false. If the tile prototype name, well, let's break this up into more ifs, shall we? That one. Then if I equals 1, then return false. That's the end for that. Otherwise, so the name match, but the I is later than 1, which means it's not the out of map tile. It's going to be the like one of the water tiles. So now what I need to find out is if the oh, I guess this is a geometry item, right? So let's make that item. Vertical offset is going to be item.position. Right, because this is the position. Geometry item is all of that. So if the item dot if item dot tile and item dot tile equals water, so we matched one of those names, and we are not out of the map. Then we can. Shit. So it's an OK tile. Okay, let's say the tile OK is true, and the tile not equal water. I need to make this the invert, so this needs to be wrap that. That's an or. That's a not. Okay, so oh man, the binary logic is too real. So basically, what I want to do is I'm going to assume that the tiles are okay. I know that I can immediately eliminate here because that's if the item tile is water, then I'm going to continue. How about that? So if the if the item tile requirement is set and that requirement set is water, then I will continue. Else this particular position will not work. So I can return false. Okay. So I don't need this tile okay anymore. So, assuming we get to the end of this, we have determined that the tile is fine. So we've done A. So if the offset has a resource specified, no, if the item has a resource specified, we need to verify that the item, that there is that resource at this position. So now we need to get the player.surface.find entities filtered with position of this position. So let's do this. Local offset. Offset position is going to be this. Okay. Which means that this can just become set position at x, set position dot y. The get tile function actually takes x and y separately, whereas find entities filtered takes them as a position. Offset position. Okay. Okay, so now we have a list of entities that are at the position where we want it to be. So now we just need to make sure that at least one of those entities matches the name of the resource that we want. We may also have to clear out some trees, but we'll see. Zukan, what are you saying? Tiles for this build will always be the same, and we have chosen them first, so he'll look for it by himself. No, that's what this is going to do. This is going to search the area around the player to find the tiles that satisfy the requirements of the geometry of this module. And running into aliens, yes, that will be a problem too. That's, you know, yet another function of the AI needs to be able to handle aliens. Okay. How am I doing for time? Probably about 10 minutes from calling it, but I think we made some pretty good progress. Let me see if I can get this build module task finished. Because if I can get this working to the point where it's telling me to put things at particular places, that will be super rad. Okay, so we have a list of entities, so now we need to make sure that for I, let's do it like this, because we need to local found entity, found resource. It's false, we have not yet found it. For I, entity, and pairs. Entities, and now we want to check if the entity entity.prototype.name equals item.resource. Then found resource equals true. And we can actually also break because we're going to keep looping. Okay, great. So if the entity, okay, great. So then here, if we found the resource, then. So at this point we have gotten to the end. We have found the resource. We can return true here. If we didn't find the resource, else. Return false. And if it was a tile that didn't require a resource, and we have passed the check of the tile type, i.e. whether it's water or not, then here we can return true as well. This tile is still okay. Oh, crud. Oh man. It's too deeply nested, no! Okay. So we don't actually want to be returning. So we want to return false in the case that it is broken. So this can be if not found resource, then we're going to return false. Okay, so now if we get to the end of all of these loops, for every item in the geometry, we did not return false, meaning that by the end of it, we're all good. So now here we can return true. And that would mean that this tile is valid for the thing that we're trying to build. Cool. Okay, well let's just do this. Let's just put in a log. Can build the self.module.name at the position that we're inspecting, so that's going to be position.x, right? I'm just going to leave it at 1 for now. Let's just do self.goal set equals true. And then here we're just returning self.false set. Okay. So this should now work. Build module task. Build furnace module. So now if I go back to my control, we don't want any of these. Now we just want to do a build module task, new, and then the recipe, or the module I should say. That's all I need, right? Self.module. Yeah. This needs to be colors. Module is going to be the burner to furnace module. Which is what this one, right? Yes, great. Now I need to do some more requiring. Build module task and require the controllers modules burner to furnace. Okay. Okay, let's see if that worked. Before I do, let's jump back in here, quit that, let's truncate that file. Okay. Tail it, restart it, and error. Bad argument to log, remember that. Oh. Derp. I did not create a logger. Why don't I just do that? Okay. There are no axes. Can build furnace. Minus 13, minus 61. So if I go to that coordinate now, get my XY. So I'm looking for minus 13. I'm just going to drop that down so I can see it behind the game. Minus 13, minus 61. So it's way up here. Okay, keep going up on the Y. Minus 48. 58, 65. Okay, so we're in this plane, minus 13, 16, minus 13. So what it's telling me is that this square where I'm standing right now, let me cut down these trees, maybe we can get a better look. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice, that looks like it worked. Surprisingly well, I guess. Awesome. I built it. I did it. We'll need to figure out how to clear the trees from those locations, if there are any. Maybe we can create a tree cutter task that will run in and just everything in that area, just wipe it out. Cool. Alright, well let's go ahead and, since we have the place building task, we have the everything else, let's go through and iterate on implementing the actual tasks, and then I'll call it a night. So we've decided we can build it. Info. Let's call this build. Building the module. Okay. So now we're going to say local tasks equals empty array. And then we're going to say for I building in self dot module dot buildings. We are going to push a task into the task list. task, number of tasks plus 1 equals the player place building task. Player place building task, and the building is going to be, let me just jump back to control here, the building type is going to be, okay. Type is going to be the type of the building. Building.type. The position is going to be the position of the building, offset by, okay. Building position equals the position that we found plus that building's offset. So x is going to be position.x plus the building's position. We got axe, we got a furnace and a coal drill, and in the game there's about 165 buildings. But it's okay, we're building generic so that I can just go in and create another one of these files to represent my power plant, and then I'll automatically know how to build it. That's the automation. Okay, y equals position.y plus building.position.y. Okay, position is going to be the building position. And the direction is going to be the building direction, if there is one, otherwise it's going to be north. So direction equals building dot one day I'll misspell it and then I'll have this really hard to find bug. Building dot direction, or defines direction north. Okay, so I'm gonna actually just pop that down. Line it up here. A little more easy to read. Okay. Good. Okay. So we create the task. Okay, great. Then the goal set is going to be true. Oh, we need to actually push that into the machine. So args.machine. I think it's set next. Push next. So push next is going to take an array, move to, and then mine. Okay, so yeah, I can do that here. Push next tasks. And then I have set a goal, and then we're going to return. I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work. I am confident that it's going to work. Let's find out if it will work. And syntax error. Player place building task. New. I should also make sure that that task has been required. Controllers. Tasks. Player place building task. And syntax error. I called it a dot, didn't I? The colon is so special in the way. And what does the log say? Cannot build. Yep, look at the map. There's no coal. There's no coal in a really long way. So it's freaking out. It's not able to build the burner furnace, so we need to regenerate the map. Womp womp. There we go. Aha! Please put a burner mining drill. Okay, come on down. Wait, what is on me? -80. Oh, it wants me to go that way. Okay. I saw the coal here on the map and I was like, great, it wants me to go there. So the way that it actually selects where you're going to build your coal is where you're going to build your thing is going to be kind of insane, but at the beginning at least. Holy crap, it is just tree-topia up in here. Trees. Okay, this is the goal, right? Yep. Oh good, it wants it a little bit out of the forest. So 80 and minus 15. So let me just, no, get the trees. Okay, so 80 and minus 15 is going to be here. So it wants me to put it here. Oh no, it wants me to put it here. That makes more sense. 80.5. 80.5 is like here. And then 15 is here. Okay, so it wants it there. Let's just test that it does not count it if the orientation is wrong. So, okay. And now it does count it if the orientation is correct. Hey. Oh man, so exciting. And then can we put this in here? Please place stone furnace at minus 78, minus 16. Boom! Alright. That's incredibly satisfying. So next steps from this will be building the manager to keep these things fueled, and then also having some kind of system where maybe I do the searching, it like keeps track of the resources that are available, and as you build modules, their outputs become part of the resourcing that's available. But all that is work for another day. Thanks very much for hanging out. I've not got too many people hanging out, but we have a few. Thanks Zukon for your input, keeping me company. You mentioned that I should put this up on YouTube. I will see if I can. I've not been recording it, but maybe I can directly export from Twitch, ? We'll find out. Anyways, thanks very much for sticking around. I'm gonna do a commit before I go, and then we can move on. Where are we here? Man, we wrote a lot of code right now. So let's just add everything. Implement the basic base building tasks. Okay. As I mentioned at the start of the stream, if you're interested in following along with the code, you can find it on GitHub under the submitted denied /factorio-AIMod. If you are observant, you'll see that right here. Otherwise, I'll try to be streaming as much as I can, but yeah, drop me a follow and you'll see when I go live. So thanks very much for sticking around. Call it for tonight, but one more question. How long do you think it will take to complete this? So my actual goal is that I wouldn't necessarily build an AI to do the whole thing. I'm just going to build a set of APIs that other people can use to write their own AIs, and then we can play them off against each other. And my Twitch stream can be like bots versus bots. Seeing how far they can get through the game or whatever. Maybe we can come up with a scoring strategy of some kind. Based on the tech tree or how your production looks or whatever. Because obviously if we're looking at my production, nothing. If I was to grab one of these coals and drop it in there, then we're fueling it, but not really doing anything. So that's sort of my overall goal. The other thing I wanted to figure out how to do is how to let people submit their AI scripts, but not let them cheat. Because it's very easy with mods to cheat. You can do stuff like player teleport to just move to a location. I want to force people to actually play the game as if they were a real human player. Anyways, that is enough for tonight. So thanks very much for hanging around. I'll see you all next time. Thanks for hanging out, Zukon. It's been great chatting with you. And yeah, see you all next time. Bye.